Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to another webinar from the Ability series. Today, we'll be talking about critical pillars to the success of a special needs family with none other than Miss Gina Bermudo. She's a special education advocate. You will be gaining important knowledge, which should be gained by all the parents and educators in this community. So we'll get started, but let us give a couple of more minutes for more of our friends to join us. Till then, enjoy the good music. So like I was mentioning, looks like a lot of you have already joined us. People from over 30 countries are now members of the Ability community, and we are really elated and excited to serve members from so many different communities and countries. Today, we'll be talking about critical pillars to the success of a special needs family. The speaker for today would be Miss Gina Bermudo. I'll be talking more about her a little later. Let me give you all a quick and brief introduction about Ability. For us as an organization, all carers of children with special needs are at the center of our universe. Our mission is to give every child an opportunity to thrive. And one way we do it is by making resources more accessible, affordable, and effective for everyone like you. And of course, we do that with collaboration with caregivers like you and with the help of technology. How you can access resources from Ability is very simple. You can visit app.ability.com and click on the resources tab here. We bring to you a host of other support systems, such as connecting with the community, so that no one of us should have to do this alone, right? Also, you can stay updated about Ability by following us and finding us and following us on our Facebook page, the link to which is being shared in the chat box right now. You can also follow and subscribe our YouTube channel, which has hundreds of useful videos from experts from around the world to help your special needs child. Also, to stay posted about the upcoming events from Ability, what you can do is visit app.ability.com and click on the events tab here. This page has list of all the upcoming events scheduled by Ability and also all the past ones which are now available for on demand. All you need to do is click on the event tile and there you go. You can register for the event or watch the on-demand recording. How you do that? You do that by logging into your Ability account. If you have registered for any of the past events from Ability, you must already have a login credential, which is your username and password. That's what you need to enter here and click on the login button. Once you're logged in for registering for any of the events, for example, here I have a webinar screenshot. If you wish to register for a webinar, all you need to do is after logging in, click on the register now button. If you wish to register for a workshop, you need to click on this orange button. And now, as you can see, we are in the progress of offering free trial for Ability membership. That's why this button here says claim your free trial now. That means if you want to register for a workshop, what you can do is opt for a free trial month from Ability and attend any of the workshops from Ability for 1 month. That's interesting, right? Why that is interesting? Because all these workshops are specifically designed by experts from around the world along with Ability team. These workshops are around different learning paths which cover some of the different special need conditions, behavioral challenges, speech and language related challenges, motor skills, remedial education, and much more. In these learning paths, we don't just cover the essential knowledge related to those learning paths. What is also covered are the strategies and interventions, different assessment tools, and what is discussed in detail are the case studies and activities. So this is definitely not something that you would want to miss. Like I was already mentioning, you could attend any of the ability workshops by opting for the free trial month. So we are hosting this offer exclusively for a month. You can opt for this right now. The link is being shared in the chat box. You can take a trial month, see how ability membership serves you, and then go from there. All you need to do is click on the claim your free trial button right here. Not just that, we have another interesting offer. What you can do is once you have opted for the free trial, you can refer your friend. That's right. When you ask your friend to come become an ability member, what you get is an additional month for free. How you can do it? The options are really easy. You can either share it on your Facebook page, your Twitter account, even on your WhatsApp, or you can click on the copy link button and share on your WhatsApp. If you click on any of these buttons, your unique referral link will be shared with your friend. And whosoever registers using that referral link, you will get an additional month for free. That's interesting, right? And now, without further ado, coming to our event for today, which will be conducted by Ms. Gina Bermudo. A lot of words have been said about her in the past. She has conducted an excellent webinar in the past, but yet again, I would like to take the privilege to introduce her because she's a strong advocate for making a difference in the life of children with special needs and produces and composes songs inspired by her two sons on the spectrum. Beautiful. She is a scholar who holds a master's degree in education major in special education and currently pursuing her second master's degree in education major in autism. She studies at the University of Massachusetts, USA. Her accolades include 2019 Most Outstanding Alumna Award in the field of special education, Outstanding Research and Presentation at the International Conference for Social Sciences and Humanities held at Harvard Medical School. She is also a lifetime member of the International Honor Society in Social Sciences, Pi Gamma Mu, member of the International Honor Society of Pi Kappa Phi, and recipients of the Gintong Medallia Award. Wow, so many accolades. And she's also a resource speaker on autism awareness, behavioral analysis, learning disabilities, and other related topics in different schools, public and private offices, and different social organizations all over Philippines. So we are really, really elated and excited to have you here with us, Madam Gina. Thank you so much for joining us today. And since the audience is really eager to hear from you, without further ado, I would request you to please take over.
Shall I get the screen share now, Swati?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me, Swati?
Okay. Yes, I can, very clearly.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Swati, for that introduction. As always, I feel truly honored and humbled. So everyone, welcome again to another seminar sponsored by EBLIT. Our topic this evening is critical pillars to the success of a special needs family. Today, I deviate from my usual technical presentation, and I come to you not only as an educator or as a behavior analyst, but I am also here as a mother. And today, I want to focus on how a family can prevail over sacrifices and challenges, and how they eventually develop resilience in navigating a world full of special needs. And hopefully, this presentation will develop a better understanding between parents, teachers, therapists, and other professionals. So every family has a story to tell. You have a story. I have a story. We all have a story. And all of us, we all love fairy tales. So I begin my story with Once Upon a Time. Once upon a time, I asked God for a blessing. I asked Him for a son. And yes, He answered my prayers. He gave me not one, but two boys with autism and multiple disabilities. Yes, I am a proud mother of two boys with multiple disabilities. My eldest is Nicholas, and my youngest is Alexander. Having a child with special needs exposes the family to a different array of emotions. Most of the time, it is the teachers and the therapists who are the receiving end of these negative emotions. We parents, we mean well, but the situation we are in makes us powerless, that we can even control the way we react. So I hope that this seminar will serve as an eye-opener for all of us, and hopefully will result in a better professional and personal relationship. A relationship that is full of compassion and understanding. So my presentation outline for tonight is, first, we have to define what a family is. And in every family, there are challenges. No matter how bleak the future is, there is always hope. Then next, I will show you the pillars, the critical pillars. Pillars are foundations. What happens if these pillars shift in the balance? How do we restore the balance? Then, what are the practical strategies to keep these pillars intact? Then, we learn from the experts. And finally, what are the rewards of resiliency? So family is where life begins and love never ends. Beautiful. So ideally, a family is a world full of love. But what is a family? In human society, family is from the Latin word familia. Familia is a group of people related either by consanguinity, meaning recognized by birth, or affinity by marriage. Now, what are the types of family? We have the nuclear family. So what is a nuclear family? We have a mother, a father, with a child or several children. We have a single parent family wherein a father or a mother raises his or her children on his or her own. We have a childless family, a husband or a wife without a child. Then we have a step family, a father or a mother decides to form another family. Then we have an extended family wherein other members of the family aside from the nuclear family stays in one house. Then lastly, we have the grandparent family. It's the family who takes care of the children. It's the grandparents who take care of the children. Now, as you can see, family members could be biological, adoptive, foster, or surrogate. So family goes beyond bloodlines, last name, or obligations. So family is a relationship. The word family includes all the people in our lives who commit to love and support us unconditionally. I too have a family. When my husband and I decided to build a family, we were ready, psychologically, emotionally, and physically. We thought we had everything. We were happy, but then that perfect life that we created was interrupted. Our fairy tale started with the birth of our first son, Nicholas. With Nicholas, we became a complete family. I became a mother, wife, and a woman. I made my husband the happiest man on earth. Then after one year after giving birth to Nicholas, we visited my mother. Nicholas was playing with his cousins and he was intermittently pinching his right eyelid. My mother told me that probably there is a deposit inside or an eyelash went inside the eyelid. I said, don't worry, Mom, as long as we go back home, I will immediately bring him to the hospital for a checkup. So that's what I did. But based on the initial checkup,
Hello. Hi, everyone. Looks like Gina is facing some technical difficulty. We will try and reach out to her as quickly as possible. But while we try and reach out to her, I would like to inform all of you that the next webinar from Ability is scheduled for 1st of July. We'll be talking about how technology could improve the outcomes of children with special needs with none other than the founder of Ability, Mr. Balaji. What you could do is register for the next webinar by clicking on the link being shared in the chat box right now by our team members. Also, we have our next workshop scheduled on addressing phonological challenges in children with special needs. You could also register for this workshop by clicking on the link that is being shared in the chat box. I will give me a minute. I'll try and reach out to our speaker as quickly as possible and get back to you. And other than that, like I was already saying, we have the reference scheme going on, which means if you refer a friend, how this works, let me explain it to you guys in detail. So if you have opted for Ability membership, that means you are already an active member. When you're an active member, you would receive links for all the different workshops that are being conducted by Ability. But I would still request you to register for the workshops that you are interested in, because eventually we would be increasing the number of learning paths and the number of workshops that are being hosted by Ability. And in that case, not every member will receive a link for the workshop that we are conducting directly. So which is why it is important for you all to register your interest for the workshops that you are interested in attending. And like I was saying, you would be able to do that if you're an active Ability member. If your membership has expired, please do not delay in renewing the membership, because the lineup of events in the month of June and going forward from here is really interesting. You don't want to miss out any one of them, right? And what you could also do is, let me show you the lineup of events. Give me a couple of minutes, but like I was talking about the referral scheme, what you could also do is share your referral link with all your friends. You could share it in your WhatsApp groups that you are a part of. If you are a part of a parent community, you can share that there. Or if you are a part of different social media groups, be it Twitter, social media, Facebook, or any other
I'm
LinkedIn,
back.
any other social media that you are a part of.
I don't know.
Hi, Gina. I was talking to the attendees for a minute. Just give me a minute and I would then allow you to
Okay.
continue.
Sorry about
Thank you
that.
so much. I did inform them that there was some technical difficulty. Yes. So you can share that referral link on all the social media groups that you are a part of. And if anyone registers using your unique referral link, you will get an additional month free. So anyone opts for Ability membership, you get to extend your validity period for Ability membership for a month. So that's an interesting offer that you would not want to miss. And now over to Gina. Please do take over.
Okay.
You would need to share your screen once again, Gina.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me now? Swati?
Yes, very clearly. Yes, very clearly.
Yeah. My apologies. I didn't know what happened. Okay. My internet is good, but anyway, you know, technical issues do happen. My apologies. Now, okay, shall we continue? So,
Sure.
like I said, we went to the hospital, and the doctor said that the retina was not only detached. They checked him and they found out that the retina warped, the eye did not grow, and we were given 3 days to decide because they needed to check him. And when they checked him in the OR operating room, they found out that there was a tumor in the optic nerve. And the decision was to enucleate. Enucleate meaning is to remove the eye because the tumor surrounded the optic nerve. If we don't do that, the tumor might migrate to the other eye and it will go to the brain, and then that could be fatal. So imagine from a routine checkup, we were given this. I didn't even have the time to absorb everything. My husband told me that we have to have our minds intact because we need to make a decision that we should not regret. We did our research. My husband did his research. I did my research, and it all zeroed into removal of the eye. So at 1 year and 6 months, my first boy, my son Nicholas, lost his right eye. It was so difficult for me to look at him. A very good looking boy, a very healthy boy, there without an eyeball and a hollow socket. I really couldn't look at him. But then we have to do something from our end at least. So my husband and I decided to make him look as normal as possible, at least physically. So we decided to get him a prosthesis. So when his prosthesis was done, it was so beautifully made that you couldn't tell the difference which one is real and which one is his artificial eye. So after that, we pick up where we left off. We decided to rebuild our fairy tale that was interrupted. But a few months after, Nicholas was diagnosed with autism. But then it was easy for me to accept the diagnosis because coming from a life and death situation, I can take anything. And that, my dear audience, was my first test of love and resilience. And the story continues. While I was taking care of my son, when Nicholas was recovering, I felt a pain in my stomach. I discovered that I had some stones and my gallbladder was inflamed. I had it removed immediately because I cannot afford to have an attack. I need to take care of my son. But after the surgery, I found out that I was 3 months pregnant. I bled profusely and was bedridden for weeks. That even a simple cough will cause me to bleed. I prayed to God not to make the baby suffer. Give me the baby and I will take care of him. And yes, God answered my prayer for the second time. And he blessed me with Alexander. And we fondly call him Sandy. Sandy brought so much joy. And life again is perfect and beautiful. But after 1 year, Sandy was also diagnosed with ADHD and Marfan syndrome. Marfan syndrome is a rare disorder that affects the connective tissue. Because connective tissue is found throughout the body, Marfan syndrome can affect many systems, often causing abnormalities in the heart, blood vessels, eyes, bones, and joints. So, in layman's term, the body grows so fast that the internal organ cannot cope up with the growth. The primary features of Marfan are lens dislocation and defects in the heart, specifically the aorta. That is my test of love and resilience, part 2. My perfect world collapsed. My fairy tale ended even before it starts. My plans to have a happy family, raise good children, and create good memories were all gone. Everything became uncertain. My husband and I were never given a chance to recover fully. We were hit from all sides. It was an arduous journey and a very, very long road to recovery. But with prayers, faith, and determination, we were able to gain strength to get going. We learned to accept our challenges and transform them into blessings. Like I said in my previous seminar, acceptance is the key to a beautiful beginning. With acceptance, we can easily navigate life's challenges with grace, move forward easily, and overcome all obstacles that come our way. And also with the support of our family, friends, professionals, community, and even strangers, we managed to cope and overcome the difficulties. So my dear audience, do not give up. There is always hope. Given this hope, my husband and I found our sense of purpose. Nicholas and Alexander turned out to be our greatest blessing. Their unconditional love and purity of hearts are the two greatest gifts they taught us. Autism, optic nerve glioma, and Marfan syndrome were words I didn't know existed. But now it is something that we have to live with for the rest of our lives. So after the diagnosis, we set up our therapy program. But we had a lot of help along the way. We had our doctors, our therapists, our SPED teachers. To all of them, I am grateful beyond words. Initially, we focused on the behavior of our children, because without compliance, it will be impossible to teach them. So what we did, we tried to discover their strengths and weaknesses, and we tried to develop them. For Nicholas, his balance and his physical strengths are exceptional. So at an early age, we addressed that. We enrolled him in a gym. We enrolled him in a lot of gross motor exercises. And this will also help him dissipate his excess energy and to eliminate his hyperactivity. So with that at an early age, and look at him now, look at the progression, and physically now, with his very strict workout regimen, his physique is very healthy and well-defined. And with that physique, he was given some modeling jobs. So he did some print ads. But Nicholas, again, like I said, Nicholas is hearing impaired, visually impaired, and also nonverbal autism. He's a nonverbal autistic. Now, we shouldn't stop at we did not stop at physical development. We also had to teach him how to live independently. So we taught him some household chores. Initially, we taught him in a contrived environment under a structured, very, very structured program. And when he was able to master the skill, we transitioned those skills in a natural environment. So he took some vocational courses, which he passed, because now he has his license and he can work in a cruise ship or in a hotel. So he can iron clothes, he can fold clothes, he can clean the toilets, he can fold napkins. And then he also has to earn a living. He had his kitchen training when he was young. And again, he transitioned from a contrived environment to a natural environment. So what I'm trying to say here is, if a child does not excel academically, there are other skills that can be developed. And all the possibilities are endless. See, look at his strength. If the child cannot be accepted in an academic program, then we have to develop their skills. So now, The story continues. We all know that no special kids are alike. My sons are completely different. If Nicholas is nonverbal, Alexander is very sociable and very verbally engaging. If Nicholas is physically strong, Alexander loves music. I would like to emphasize that not all special children are gifted, talented, genius, or exceptional. We have to look for their strengths and turn them into skills and talents. We do not wait for the skills and talents to reveal itself. We have to search and develop them. So Alexander has a stereotypical behavior manifested in tapping and twirling sticks, hangers, Tupperwares, and pots and pans cover. He stimulates himself auditorily through rhythm that he creates. We did not stop this behavior because if we stop the tapping and twirling behavior, he will just protest. Instead, we introduce an alternative behavior that is similar and more appropriate to tapping. So what we did, we introduced him to drums. And with that drumstick, he was able to fulfill his auditory needs. So we introduced him to rhythm and music and drums and other musical instruments. Only then we found out that he had a perfect pitch. So perfect pitch means he can copy a song, he can sing a song in any genre perfectly, even after listening to it only once. So because of his talent, he was able to perform in theater, sang on TV, and guested in some TV shows. And he said he wants to be a rock star. There are times he wants to be a pop singer. He also wants to get to be a movie star and get his own word at Hollywood Walk of Fame. Unfortunately, Sandy cannot fulfill his dream of becoming a rock star or a movie star. We lost Sandy when he was 13 because of his Marfan syndrome. And during our bonding moments, Sandy quotes Winnie the Pooh randomly and tells me, if there ever comes a day we can be together, keep me in your heart and I will stay there forever. Every time I miss him, I think of these words and they become the source of my strength. When you look at your children with special needs, do not look at the disability. Look at the child and embrace your blessing. Give them hope and show them that life can still be beautiful no matter how difficult the challenges are. Even if Sandy is gone, we have his memories to hold on to, along with hope that life can still be meaningful and beautiful. With hope as my inspiration, I would like to share an excerpt from my song, and I hope that we learn from it. It is from a perspective of a special child. A home is a place where I can be me. A home is a place where I can be free because I am loved and accepted no matter what others think of me. Please give me hope to carry on. So let us give them the hope to carry on. Let us give them the hope to turn their life around. Because even if hope is everywhere, hope always begins at home. So together we will hope that the best is yet to come. And if we hold the hands of our children, the challenges we will all overcome. So my dear parents, you may have a very good program. You may have excellent teachers. You may have expert therapists in your team. But if your children do not feel the love at home, it is difficult for them to learn and love back. Love, kindness, compassion, and hope should always start at home. Now, life did not come easy. We had to navigate our challenges with great difficulties. So here are the critical pillars of challenges that we faced and actually still facing up to now. Emotionally, we cried bucket of tears. until our tear ducts were dry. And as a married couple, we sacrifice our time and attention for each other. And siblings, our boys with special needs, they compete for full attention. That 24/7 is not enough. And financially, we had to reallocate most of our budget to therapies and other interventions. Now, let us go through the emotional challenges. As a family, we go through a cycle of grief after the diagnosis. As a baseline for understanding our emotions, I want to use The Cycle of Grief by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. In that cycle of grief, there are 5 stages. These are experienced by persons who are dying or those with terminal illness. When they receive their diagnosis, they are in denial. They cannot accept the diagnosis. And then they become angry of the diagnosis. And then they start to bargain that they improve, they will do this, and they will do that, and they will do this. And then when they cannot do anything anymore, they fall into depression until they arrive at acceptance. Now, in that cycle of grief, a person goes through the cycles chronologically. And once they reach the acceptance level, they stay there for a long time. Now, for families with special needs, we don't go through 5 cycles. We go to, I think, 12 cycles of grief. And we don't go through the cycles chronologically. We experience these cycles of grief or these emotions randomly, and we don't know when will it hit us. When my sons were diagnosed, I was shocked and in disbelief. I couldn't understand what was going on. I don't know what were they saying. I couldn't even absorb what the doctor was saying. And then I was in denial. Why my children? They are healthy. Why us? We are good family. We are good people. We are good person. And then I was angry at the diagnosis. I was angry at the doctor who gave me the diagnosis. I was angry at my family who was giving me unsolicited advice. I was angry at my friends. I was angry at my relatives. I was angry at everybody. This should not be the case, no? Because these people are there to help us. But then in my anger, in my rage, I was confused and powerless. I didn't know what to do. I was treading a territory that I know nothing about. I was ready to be a mother. I was ready to be a wife, but I was not ready for children with special needs. Then I fell into depression, guilt. Was it because of the glass of wine that I drank when I was pregnant? Did I stay up late? Did I not eat properly? And then when I realized that I couldn't get out of the diagnosis anymore, shame and embarrassment starts to sink in. What will I do? What will I tell my family? What will I tell my friends? How will I protect my children? Shall I expose them to public? And then isolation. Do I isolate my children? Do I just build a wall around my family? And then I felt fear and panic for the future. Then I also started bargaining with God. Please, please, Lord, help my children. Okay, if you cure them, I will sponsor a child. I will serve you, all these things. But then with training and education, by equipping myself, I learned to understand about autism. With therapy, I saw the improvements of my children. Then I started to have hope. Then came acceptance. But again, even up to now, I still go through the process randomly. For example, the improvements of my children are very fast and they are progressing exponentially. We want to celebrate. We go to a restaurant. When we are at the restaurant, they start to throw tantrums. Then I go back again to denial. Then I go back to isolation. So I just go round and round and round. But once I accepted the diagnosis, once I accepted the conditions, once I accepted the situation, then I stayed in the acceptance level more and more and longer. See, these are the cycle of griefs, and it's so complicated. And sometimes we don't know when it hits us. Now, what are the marital challenges? The experiences I had when my children were diagnosed are contrary to the fairy tale that I imagined. Instead, it was full of challenges that tested our love and faith to the limit. So what are the challenges? Usually, there are different ways and levels of acceptance. The husband usually accepts the challenge quietly, while the wife is more emotional. Now, when these emotions don't meet, the other suspect that the other doesn't care. Again, we have to understand that there are different ways of expressing our challenges. And then the different parenting style is also an issue. The husband is more fun and carefree, while the wife is more structured, and that happened to us also. So it was difficult to find a parenting overlap. And then there is a decrease in spousal time. We don't have time for each other anymore because it's all devoted to the kids because of their excessive caring demands. But the most difficult marital challenge for us was the pressure to present the family to the community that all is well and the family is normal. For me, this was the most challenging part, that sometimes I have to pretend that my children are normal, nothing is okay, that they will be cured. We're doing everything that we can. So this is, to me, was the most challenging part. Now, the sibling challenge. I have no neurotypical child, so I asked experiences of other families. Now, they said that the children experience the same level of stress as parents because parents are unable to provide full support for their neurotypical children. And these neurotypical children are confused of what is going on in the family because they lack awareness of the disability. And since they are not involved, they feel abandoned and unloved. And then they start to act up and create sibling rivalry. Then they start to develop a lot of resentment. Because of these resentments, they try to look for substitute outside the family that can be dangerous. The attention that they don't get in the family, they get it outside. And if these children are not guided properly and not monitored, it can be very, very dangerous for them. Now, what are the financial challenges? Having children with special need is a huge financial burden because therapies are not covered by insurance in the Philippines. So we have to reallocate the family budget to therapies. And because of this reallocation, the quality of our leisure time individually and collectively as a family suffers because social time and leisure activities are often reduced to nil. And because of these financial challenges, the anxiety of the future is always there. Now, how do we restore the balance? First, we do not have to isolate ourselves and our child. We have to integrate our child or children into society. By integrating them into society, we are not only exposing them, but we are also teaching others, teaching the community to be more accepting and compassionate to children with special needs. So we have to get over caring of what other people think. Like I said, everybody has a story to tell. If our story is about special kids, other families have stories too. Okay, and then we have to keep our sense of humor and take time to laugh. Okay, by laughing and laughing out loud is a very good way to de-stress. And then we have to appreciate the little blessings. And most of all, we have to stay healthy and spend me time to recharge. This is what I requested from my husband. I told him, okay, please, I need a day off, 1 day off, autism-free day off, just to recharge. And then we are only human. It's okay to cry, it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to go through the cycle of grief. But what is important is we have to recognize that emotion. And we also need to love ourselves, because if we cannot love ourselves, what love do we give to our children? What love do we give to our family? So it is very, very important. To me, self-love is important. It is basic. Now, when my children were little and they throw tantrums every time we go out, I got tired of apologizing and explaining to everybody about my children's condition, about my children's diagnosis. So I devised a special way of not only apologizing, but to educate others. I printed their condition in a business card. It's the size of a business card. On one side, it explains 2 or 3 sentences about autism. And at the back, it says, we as a family are trying our best to make our children functional and be a useful member of society. I hope you understand. So if my children, they throw tantrum, we just give them the card. And by giving them the card, they read it, and then right away, they shift, from being, they immediately shift their behavior and become more compassionate and become more understanding. Now, what are my marital recommendations? First, you always give your focus and attention to your husband. What do I mean by this? Okay. My marital recommendations are based on my experience. You may use it, but it worked for us and to some friends of ours whom I suggested this. So when my husband is outside the house, I focus my attention to my children 100%. But once my husband arrives from work, then I leave the children and give my full attention to my husband the moment he arrives until he finishes his dinner. That is my undivided attention. Not talk about autism, not talk about problems in the house. It's just him and me. And we use that opportunity to relax our mind and relax our body. Now, quality time. Quality time, day off, and autism-free day. I recommend that you go out on dates. It doesn't matter if it's once a week, once a month, or once every 2 months. It does not matter, but you go out. But once you go out, you again focus on each other. The issue is when the husband and wife go out on date, they haven't left the house yet. They are still in the car or at the gate. The wife starts calling the house, checking the children. How are they? Have they had their dinner? Is everything okay? Are they okay? No, I don't recommend that. Use that time and opportunity to focus on each other. Rekindle the romance. And then try to build the love. And use this opportunity to spend time with each other, again, autism-free day. And then you share the household chores. What we did or what we are doing now is when we are at home, I do everything for the children. But once we are outside the house, it's my husband who does everything for the children. Like when they go to the bathroom outside, it's my husband who goes out with them. When they need to get a haircut, it's my husband. But once they are at home, I feed them, I see to it that they are clean, they are well fed, and their routine, and that they have a routine, that they are well disciplined. So that's what we did. And then spouses should support each other, especially during difficult time. And you have to communicate. Do not keep it to yourself. Now, for sibling recommendation, child with autism is only one part of the family. Okay, we should not overlook the siblings. And then we have to educate the children of their siblings' disability. We have to tell them what is autism or what is ADHD. Okay. What is obsessive compulsive disorder? We try to explain it to them in a language that they can understand. And at the same time, we teach them with coping mechanism. What do they do when they get bullied? And then we bring them to sibling workshops. So we try to discuss with them what is autism or what is ADHD or what are the other disabilities, but not to a point of overwhelming them. And then we have to spend quality time for siblings. What I mean is, as parents, you have to take out your children, neurotypical children, individually and bond with them. They need that. Use that opportunity to ask, what are they thinking? What are their thoughts? What are their issues? What can you do for them? Do not ask them things that you should be doing. Like, when I am gone, you take care of your brother. When I go out, please do this, please do that. No. You have to listen to them. And when you go out, it's also a non-disability day. Now, for financial recommendations, you have to build your savings, plan for your child's independence, educate family members, and be creative. Now, lack of money should not limit your creativity. You can do so many things. Again, the possibilities are endless. Now, what are the strategies from the experts? Empower thyself and seek knowledge, because knowledge is power. You have to seek information from a reliable source. There are wealth of information in the internet. You have to see to it that your source is empirically proven and data-driven. You have to focus on the present. What is the point of focusing in the future if you cannot address the present? And learn the jargons. And ask questions and do not be intimidated by others. You have to remember, you are there to learn. You are not an expert, so you need the experts to guide you. Now, a few more slides, Swati. So I think I overshot my time, no? So the rewards of resiliency. Once we are equipped to face our challenges, we develop resiliency and learn to bounce back from adverse situations. So having a special child should not define who we are. We are entitled to create our own happiness. And as a family, we decided to not only carry our cross, but to embrace them. Life is a matter of perspective. And from our own perspective, we are not perfect, but we are happy family. So I was able to develop my purpose. So I decided to give back. Okay. I gave back by giving family support groups, by training teachers, giving quality education, and most of all, giving the disability awareness. And with that, I was able to go back to school and get a higher education and equip myself to give a better service to the special needs community. And also in my journey with autism, I had a lot of personal discoveries. And one of them is songwriting. I do not sing, I cannot play instrument, but while waiting for my sons to finish therapy, I started writing my thoughts and emotions. And then by the time I realized it was turned into a song. So recharge your energies, do something positive. Now, what do I plan to do in the future? I plan to continue what I love to do the most, making a difference through quality education, neurodevelopmental disorder awareness, family support group, and teachers training, and try to bridge the gap between families, teachers, therapists, schools, and centers, and create a harmonious relationship through compassion and understanding. Now, if you ask me, what did I learn in my journey with autism? I learned that I am capable of loving unconditionally. So, families, teachers, therapists, and others, fairy tales do come true if we make it happen. So together, we dream, we believe, we create, and we succeed. Thank you for your time and good evening.
Thanks a lot, Gina. We have had many informative webinars with Ability. This was something that was really inspiring, I would say. So you must have inspired so many other parents and also the people who are working in this community for children with special needs. Thank you so much for this insightful sharing of journey with you. It was really helpful for all the people out there. And without further ado, I would directly jump to the questions that we have received from the members. But before jumping onto the questions, I would quickly like to remind, if you wish to refer your friends, like I was explaining, for Ability membership, please check out the link in the chat box that is being shared. If you share the link with your unique link of referral with other friends, you would get an additional month of Ability membership for free. Apart from that, if you wish to register for the upcoming webinar or workshop from Ability, the link to that is also being shared in the chat box right now. And now moving on to the questions that we have received. The first one is from Ria and also Catherine. They're asking, what can parents or family do to help children with special needs during this, these times of pandemic where the options available are so less? And also, there's an extension to this question which says that teaching a child with hyperactivity can be quite challenging during these times because they are limited to the home. So if you could suggest some strategies to help parents in this situation.
Okay, for Rhea and Catherine, thank you so much for the questions. I have few suggestions, but again, this is individualized. It depends on the need. No? First, you have to answer their fears. Children rely on their parents for safety, both physical and emotional. Reassure your children that you are there for them and your family will get through this together. Then keep a healthy routine. During pandemic, it is more important than ever, this you will be surprised, to maintain bedtime. Okay? Because if you have a specific time in going to bed, you wake up on time early. And then this, you create a sense of order to the day. Most of the time, especially the teenager, they stay up late. They wake up late. That in itself, it already, distorts the routine. So you keep healthy routine and then use positive discipline. Younger children may not have the words to describe their feelings. They're more likely to act out their stress, anxiety, or fear through their behavior, which in turn can upset the parents, particularly if they are also stressed. So older children and teens may be extra irritable as they miss out on normal events. So they look forward to and activities that enjoy with their friends. So use positive discipline. Now, for the extension question, this is very important. My dear parents, please do not increase medication dosage without doctor's instruction for your ADHD children. Now, with the new teaching methods, they might need some accommodation, like reading or dictation. Take movement breaks. Movement breaks is very important. And then if they're having difficulty with activity at home or lessons, you have to task analyze it. Task analyze means you break down the activity, you break down the assignment, you break down the work, you break it down to a smaller components wherein they can do it. And then most of all, you do gross motor exercises. Now, if your place is small, there is nowhere for them to run, you buy a trampoline. Trampoline to me is very helpful to dissipate the energies of children with special needs. So I hope that helps.
Totally. I think so that would help a lot of them present over here. Okay. The next one that we have is from Karen. Karen has been attending our sessions quite regularly, and she's asking why do children behave differently at school or at home?
Okay. Now, for children behave differently at home and school. We call it, in therapy, we call it the behavioral contrast. Okay,
right.
Behavioral contrast, meaning if a behavior is maintained in a different context, they behave differently in another context. Example, okay. Now, if a child wants a toy at home and he whines and whines, if he whines, the parents give the toy, okay? But once that child is outside the house and teachers starts to teach the child how to ask for toy properly, and then the whining stops. Now, when the child goes back to the house, again, the whining escalates. See, it's because the behavior, the behavior escalates depending on the environment. So now, because at home, they get everything they want. In school, they get discipline, or it's the other way around. So how do we address this? Now, we call it in therapy differential reinforcement of alternative behavior. You have to reinforce the behavior that you want and ignore the behavior that you do not want. Okay, and then you teach the child to generalize. If he can do this good thing in one setting, he can do this good thing also in other setting. So the behavioral contrast, it depends again on the environment and how you react with the child, and then use this opportunity to teach alternative and more appropriate behavior, or you teach the child to generalize so he can function properly in whatever setting he is in.
Great. That's really informative, Gina. The next one that we have is, although the question that I'm quoting is from Dipanjali, but many participants have asked us similar questions. So I'm going to read out the question from Dipanjali. She's working as a special education English teacher in a co-educational, fully residential boarding school in Northeast India. Her challenge is impressing upon parents the need for early intervention and assessment, as many children there in middle school were screened while they were in the primary school. However, the parents there have resisted or completely ignored the advice for seeking a proper diagnosis from a licensed practitioner. The current head of special education there tells the Dipanjali that most of these parents have said something similar to him. And what most of the parents say is either they'll get a tuition teacher for the child or have some extra, lessons arranged after the school. Or sometimes there is downright denial of parents to get the learning support, as they feel that the child is being targeted or the child is getting neglected by the teachers. So this is a complicated issue to solve. If you have any tips to break through to the parents that they are on the same team, and the mission is ultimately to help the child, and therefore the focus should be to give more and more attention to the child. So how to convince the parents for doing that?
Okay, first let's start with convincing, because no matter what we do, no matter how good the assessment tools we have, no matter how good the app that Ability makes, no matter how good the program or the assessment tools are, if the parents cannot do anything,
Hi, Gina. Could you hear us?
once they say that, we cannot do anything.
Hi, Gina. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you. We missed you for a couple of seconds. Could you repeat the last
Okay.
statement?
Now, what I say is, no matter how good the program is, no matter how good the assessment tools are, no matter how excellent the teachers are, if the parents says no, there's nothing we can do. The last say is always the parents. So how do we convince them? The question, Swati, is how do we convince them to go through assessment and to go to early intervention? To begin with, we all know that assessment and intervention are very, very important. It is very, very crucial in the development of a child. Now, what we do in the Philippines is we do an awareness campaign.
Right.
Okay. We give seminars, we give talks, we give posters, we give flyers, just to show them that this is what you need. And parents, your teachers and therapists, you and the teachers and parents, you belong to one side. You all have the same goal, which is to develop the child. That is all your goal. So if awareness campaign doesn't work, then you tell them success stories. Because, it's a different thing, Swati. No matter what we do, the last say is with them. So the very best thing to combat this is through awareness campaign. Awareness
Right.
campaign, awareness campaign. That's it.
Right, great. Awareness is the only way to go about it, and that's what ability is trying to do. That's what renowned speakers like Gina is trying to do, and hopefully we'll succeed in this mission, and then it would no longer be a challenge for special educators to explain to the parents the importance of early intervention or the importance of giving attention. Moving on to the next question, since we are running short of time, Gina, I would be taking two last questions for today. The next one that I have is from Mary. Mary is asking us how to formulate IEP for children with special needs by including parents in it. Do you have any suggestions? The individualized education plan for parents for children with special needs.
Now, for the IEP, okay, for the IEP, it is very, very important that parents should be involved with IEP. Okay, because usually parents, they get intimidated. No, parents, they get intimidated even if they want to participate, even if they want to be a hands-on parent in the IEP formulation, they get intimidated by the jargons. Now, you tell them, teachers and therapists, you tell them that their contribution is very vital. They may not be an expert about special education, but they are an expert about their child. So as a parent, they have the right to participate in all their child's IEP meeting. But for us, educators and therapists, during the meeting, we also have to speak in a language that they can understand. In fact, the Individuals with Disability Act, the federal law governing special education, lists parents first on the list of required members of a student's IEP team. It is very important. Now, don't intimidate them. That's the only key. They don't want to attend because they get intimidated. And these excuses, lack of time, I'm so busy, these are just excuses. But the bottom line is they get intimidated. Now, before I end this question, Swati, let me just give a trivia. Now, IEP, Individualized Education Plan, are for school-age children. Okay? Because usually in Asia, we all call everything IEP. Now, IEP are for school-age children. But for children who deserves intervention, but they are not yet school-ready, we call this the IFSP. Okay,
Right.
IFSP is Individualized Family Service Plan. These are basically the same. The only difference is IEP
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry, we missed
It's
the last line again, Gina.
No, it's IFSP. It's Individualized Family Service Plan. This is similar to IEP, but this is used for children who are not yet school ready.
Got it. That's a very interesting piece of information that you have shared with us here today. Moving on to the last question that we have for today. I'm combining some similar questions that have been asked by Michelle and Nuzna, and they are more or less related to time management and dividing your attention equally. So if let's say the partner or the spouse is not interested in doing something for the special child, then how do you divide your attention between the partner and the special child? Also, what Michelle has to ask is, since you have been an exemplary and you had two children with ASD and you managed to give your attention to both of the children, so how did you manage your time, and if you have some time management tips for the audience?
No, like again, it's all about time management. No matter how busy or how overloaded we are with work, we have 24 hours in a day. We can always divide that. Okay? So, like I said, when my husband is out of the house, I focus everything on my children. But when my children are asleep or they are in therapy, I focus it to myself.
Right.
See, it's just that the tendency is for us, especially mother. This is the issue always, especially for mother. Whatever we do, even in our me time, or even if we are out, whether we are busy, we always think of our children. What are they doing? Are they safe? Are they okay? No, if you are not with your children, use that opportunity to relax your mind. Use that opportunity as me time. That's what I do. It recharges me. Even if the 1 hour, even if it's just 1 hour or 30 minutes that I am alone, I sit down, make a very good cup of tea and drink it without thinking of anything. And that recharges me. So you don't, if you cannot budget your time, use every opportunity. Use every opportunity to relax.
Right.
It's very important. Your self-care is very important, because how can you care? How can you care for your family? How can you care for others if you don't take care of yourself?
I think so. That's
and most
the
of all, take time to fix yourself. You know, even though how busy you are, you take time to comb your hair, put powder. You know, because this will boost your morale.
That's wonderful sharing, Gina. The entire session has been really, really inspiring, and I'm pretty sure it must be really helpful for our community members. So, yeah, self care is the main underlying principle. First, care for yourself to be able to care for others. Beautiful message that you have shared with us here, Gina, today. Thank you so much for such an inspiring session, which was also informative. But yes, the inspiration definitely overpowered today's talk. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Do not forget to share your feedback. Your feedback will help us improve further. And I would like to remind all the attendees for you all to be able to share the feedback seamlessly. What you need to do is stay logged into your Ability account, because after you submit the feedback, you'll be redirected to your page for downloading the certificate, or you'll receive an email for submitting the feedback as well. So do not worry. Even if you're not able to submit the feedback right now, you will receive an email and you can share with us your thoughts about today's session in peace. Thank you so much, Gina, for such an engaging session. Your final words
Thank you,
about today's
Swati.
experience.
Thank you, Swati. Oh, you want my final word? Okay. First of all, I would like to apologize for the technical problem. We extended again because of that. Now, for my final words, loving a special child should sincerely come from the heart, because they can feel it. These children are gifts from God, and loving them is our gift to God. Being a parent, a teacher, or a therapist is contributing to this gift. So we should accept our role wholeheartedly. Along with love comes faith. A special child can do anything and turn into someone great when properly guided. By making them feel loved the way they understand it, we'll reflect on their behavior, and they will love us back unconditionally. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gina. Yes, loving unconditionally really helps. And for us, you can help us to spread this unconditional love far and wide to other community members by referring other community members for Ability membership. We want to help and spread this awareness as far as possible. So help us making this information reach far and wide by sharing it with everyone you know who could benefit from it. Share it with your friends and family. Refer other members, and in exchange, you would get some very useful and engaging sessions for free under your extended membership period. Thank you so much, Gina, for joining us today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. That brings us to the end of today's session.
Thank you.